Hi, I'm Becca, also known as Fitness Princess on Instagram, and this is my weight loss story. I grew up as the heavy kid, I grew up as the heavy teen, and for the most part I grew up as the heavy adult. As a kid, I remember as early as second grade being put on a diet to try to work with my weight. I also started playing softball at a fairly young age, probably 8 or 10. Played for about 14 or 15 years. So that helped a little bit, but there was never any structure on diet. We were the normal American family that on Fridays you had pizza, on Saturdays you had meatloaf, and on Sundays you had spaghetti at grandma's. And that is just how it went. There wasn't anything extra added to it. If you wanted to have seconds, you could have seconds. That in itself probably didn't help, but as I was playing softball, I had that extra exercise. But I always remember, from the furthest memory back, I was always the biggest one. Biggest one in my family, biggest one on the softball team, biggest one of my friends, biggest one in all of probably my class. It is what it is. I always put my best face first. I never got any help to talk to anybody in regards to my weight or how I felt. I remember being teased as a kid. I remember being teased as a teenager. I even remember being teased as an adult. When I played softball, it was always clean up batter, number 4, because I could hit the ball the furthest. I always had a pinch runner because I always ran the slowest. I remember growing up thinking I will never ever have a boyfriend or a spouse because nobody ever wanted to be more than just my friend. In high school, I look back at the pictures and I'm the big girl. I'm, everybody's pal, but nothing more. And even in high school, there were people who called me their friend and were stabbing me in the back just because I was heavy. I walked across my graduation stage and heard them yelling obscenities at me, screaming things, and I just kept going. And to this day, I don't ever remember any of my friends saying, "Are you okay? Did you hear that?" I just kept going because it was always best faced first. It was never anything else. Never let them see you sweat. That was my theme. As you get older, that starts to weigh on you, and you start to wonder, why didn't somebody help me out? The past is the past, and you keep going. But after high school, I went straight into culinary school with the assumption, again, that I would never have a boyfriend or a spouse, so I put my full attention into culinary school. I went in knowing that I would basically do the best I could to get the best job I could, and I would just throw myself into work. When you throw yourself into work like that, especially in the culinary world, it is really long hours. And I loved it. I loved every minute of it. That's definitely not a complaint. But it's also the point where you might eat in the morning and snack something, whatever you can grab during the day, and then you eat at midnight. Or you go hang out with your friends at the bar after and you get some bar appetizers because there's really nothing else at 1 a.m. when you're getting off work. Repetitive, over and over. That's what I did for years. And not having that softball, I started packing the weight on fairly quickly. While I was living out of state, I decided to see a doctor down there and ask them in regards to helping get weight loss. Well, the doctor recommended fen-phenin Redux. And if you're not familiar with fen-phenin Redux, because it was many, many years ago that it was on the market, it is a diet pill that helped me lose 80 pounds. But it is also a diet pill that could cause irreversible heart damage. I am very lucky that I had no side effects from the fen-phen and or the Redux. So I was taking measures at all costs to lose weight. As soon as I went off of the fen-phen, guess what happened? I gained that 80 pounds plus 40 back. I was miserable, but I kept going. My back hurt, my knees hurt, everything hurt, but it was never my weight. It was always because I worked so hard in such long hours. In that world, I had someone come to me and tell me that he had had the weight loss surgery. And I said that I was very proud of him and it was good for him, but it wasn't for me. Fast forward, my husband and I decided we wanted to have a child. So we moved back home to where we are now, so we could be around family if we ever did have a baby. We tirelessly tried and nothing. So I saw my PCP and I asked if I could see a fertility doctor. Of course, they were like, that's absolutely fine. We went through the whole process, and the next thing was to do medication. And the doctor said to me, I'm sorry, you can't do the medication because you're too heavy. It possibly could kill you. I was crushed. I wanted to have a baby more than anything. At that time, I still had somebody come to me, a second person, and tell me about the weight loss surgery. And in my ignorance, I told them that anybody who would mutilate their body like that is out of their mind. Call me a hypocrite if you'd like to. However, I was very uneducated on what the surgery actually does for a patient, and I just turned my head at it. I think partially because I wanted to be able to do it on my own, because I felt like such a failure. From failing every diet, from watermelon to cabbage to Richard Simmons to Weight Watchers 100 times over. I failed it. I never stuck with it. I never did anything long term. Around 2003, I had a neighbor who had weight loss surgery, and her and I had a heart-to-heart after her surgery, and she explained to me and educated me on what I needed to know. I came home that day and I told my husband, I'm going to see this doctor, and if this is my only chance, if this is what's going to help me lose the weight and keep the weight off all of my life, I'm willing to talk to them and see what they had to say. My process started at the end of 2003. Sometime in 2004, I was denied because my insurance at the time had decided that I was not a candidate. Well, all you got to do is light a fire under my ass. I fought from 2004 all the way through 2005, seeing psychologists, exercise physiologists, nutritionists, doctor after doctor, having test after test. I was pre-diabetic. I had high blood pressure. I had sleep apnea. Not to mention I had 3 bulging discs, 2 bad knees, and a myriad of other things wrong with me. But my insurance said I wasn't a candidate. Well, I was going to prove to them I was a candidate. My doctor at that time gave me an unofficial weight of about 400 plus pounds. He told me I wouldn't see 35. You want to talk about a punch in the stomach? Someone tell you that your life expectancy isn't even 10 years. So I got really serious. And in 2006, I finally was approved to have my surgery. I could not have been happier. It was going to help me lose the weight I needed to lose to get rid of the blood pressure medicine, the sleep apnea, get off the pre-diabetic crap, and be able to have a child. That was my ultimate goal in all of this. 2006 came and went. I was 343 or 341 pounds the day of surgery. My surgery went off without a hitch. Everything was great. I lost 135 pounds in the first 2 years. We started seeing a fertility doctor somewhere in year 2, and we got pregnant within 3 months. I was so excited I could not even tell you. To this day, I will never forget the phone call that the doctor said I was pregnant. I called my husband. I couldn't even wait to tell him face to face. I called him immediately. I was crying in my office. My boss figured it out immediately. I was like, look, sorry to tell you so soon, but I literally just found out. My pregnancy went very well. I did have some back issues, but that was normal. But unfortunately, I used the excuse I was eating for 2. I also used the excuse to not go to the gym. I was tired. I was almost a mom, and I needed to take a break. Well, it didn't take long to pack back on 85 to 90 pounds. That was pre-pregnancy weight. Once I had my son, I lost a good amount of weight right in the hospital because I had a lot of buildup of fluid, about 25 pounds. After that, I hung on to that weight. I stood at about 260 to 270 pounds till he was about 3 or 4 years old. Sometime around 3 or 4 years old, I decided I was going to join a gym again and go with my friends, and did that. But the same thing happened over again. My friends didn't go, I didn't go. They blew it off, I blew it off. And then one day, right before his 4th birthday, I decided, this is enough. I have to do something and take my life back. I hired myself a trainer, and I lost the weight again. Am I where I want to be? Probably not. We all strive for more. But I am so much better than I used to be. Having weight loss surgery didn't quick fix me. All it did was give me a tool to help my body control something that I couldn't control. I still have to, every day, weigh and measure everything that I eat. I still have to, every day, plan to get into that gym or get on my elliptical and do something. Every day at lunch, I take a walk. Every day, I measure and I weigh everything that I eat. I have a very controlled diet. Now, does that mean that I can't go and have fun? No. Every once in a while, I have my cheat day. But I also remember where I started, and I'll never, ever go back there. I was lucky enough to have the excess skin removed in 2014. They removed 10 pounds of skin from my panulectomy, extended tummy tuck, arms, and thighs. I sit every day in awe, knowing that I could be dead at 35, and I'm about to celebrate my 43rd birthday. When you tell somebody that they're not going to make it to see 35, and they fight through it, at 45, you better be damn sure I'm going to go back and see that doctor. I have gone through a lot, not any more than anybody else. But every time something brings me down, I have to remember where I started. And I look at those pictures of a 403-pound person, and I know that she was unhappy, but she was putting her best face forward. If you're having any thoughts of wanting to lose the weight or get started, I'm not saying that weight loss surgery is the answer for you. I'm saying, go take a walk. One lap around your backyard, 1 lap around your building, 1 extra flight of steps a day. Cut out 1 extra drink. You will never, ever regret it. All I know is, to this day, I don't regret starting earlier. What I do regret is not having the sense to understand my body better. But it's okay. Regrets are made, in my life, regrets are made as learning experiences. And I've learned a lot over the last 11 years. 11 years post-op. And I have seen the roller coaster up and the roller coaster down and the roller coaster back up. And if you're going to do anything, do it for you. And if you think for a minute that you want to give up, just close your eyes, stand still, and recollect yourself. And put 1 foot in front of the other and keep going. This journey is 1 day at a time. It is no more than that. I don't know what I'm doing next week. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. Right now, it's today, and that's where we are. If I could give one piece of advice to anybody, and it's not just to people who haven't started, this is to people who are on the journey already. This is to people who have lost the weight. Never be afraid to share. You sharing what you've gone through may be saving somebody's life. Even if you think it's silly or stupid or you failed, because I had the biggest failure. I regained weight after weight loss surgery, but in my biggest failure, I found my greatest success in sharing all this with everybody. Because I know there's at least one person out there who's gotten back up off that couch from regain. Because I did it, they're going to do it. Always remember, never give up. Just keep going.